Hey guys, 66 here, and welcome to the long-awaited sequel of Museum of Powerhouses. Today, we have episode 2, Matchwin FTK. This deck has seen just about no competitive success, which personally, I'm very confused about. This deck might just be the greatest of all time, as one that just always wins going first and wins the match instead of just the duel, explaining the name of the deck. The cards I review today are some of the most amazing I've ever seen. None of them are on the ban list, and again, I have no idea why this deck isn't the best in the game right now. I guess now it will ruin the meta since I'm sharing it. Alright, of course, my views. The first card we will be reviewing is our Deck Master. Deck Masters automatically go from your deck to your field at the start of the duel. There is no reason not to play one in your deck. To me, it doesn't make any sense why no Deck Masters are in YCS deck lists. The best Deck Master, in my opinion, is the Black Dark Magician Deck Master. There is a crazy amount of card text which you don't need to read. Just one thing, it lets you pay 1000 life points to activate any spell card twice. Not even once per turn. There are plenty of crazy spells in this deck, and activating them twice sounds like a really good idea. This card could be staple in any deck. The next and possibly most broken card in this video, depending on your perspective, is Spellbook Inside the Pot. Better than Pot of Greed. A lot better. Simple card text. Both players draw 3 cards. Activating this card twice with Black Magician Deck Master lets you draw 6. Sounds pretty good if you ask me. Again, I don't know why I've never seen anyone use this aside from myself. About the opponent drawing, that doesn't really matter because... You thought I was going to overview the way to make the opponent drawing irrelevant. Really gotcha with that one. Instead, we're looking at another card similar to Spellbook Inside the Pot. Heaven's Lost Prophecy is a card that is a graceful charity for both players. This lets you get cards engraved, which is pretty useful in this deck. Also, you can activate it twice, which is pretty nice. Now we will look at the card that makes the opponent draws irrelevant. The card in question is Drawber. Drawber is absolutely broken and pretty much an FTK by itself. By guessing the top card of the opponent's deck, you can shuffle all cards from the hand and field into the deck. Yeah, Sack will find the top card of the opponent's deck, and you immediately clear their livelihoods. Ridiculous, huh? Eventually, this will destroy the entire metagame. Someday, people will find this. Someday. The card I personally use to resolve Drawber is Convulsion of Nature. This card is infamous for being very annoying in Dueling Network, and also being really strange in its effect. In case you haven't watched a Weirdest Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards video, Convulsion of Nature flips both players' decks upside down. This just lets you see the top card of your opponent's deck and resolve Drawber each and every time. Just make sure your opponent doesn't flip it back with their own convulsion. Some real combo. Next up, we have a card that synergizes quite well with Heaven's Lost Prophecy. Cards of Compensation lets you draw 2 cards when it's sent from the hand to the graveyard. Basically, if Brow always resolved and only acts as if it were discarded by the opponent, Dangers could do very well with this card. Absolutely insane, as you should expect at this point. This card is the big bad, Magician's Archive. What a card. Add a spell from your deck to your hand. Search anything. Search Spellbook, Drawber, Convulsion, all the other cards we're reviewing. Do it twice. Why does nobody use this? A card we actually use for a win condition is the Dangers. Basically, we need level 8 bodies on board, preferably with high attack. The draws from Danger isn't even relevant in this deck. It's just the most fun way to get out level 8s. For even more draw power, Card of Burial Magic is Pot of Greed when you banish 3 spells from your graveyard. Basically engage, but you don't have to play any bricks. If you don't know what Pot of Greed does, allow me to direct you to this video. The anime is horrible at explaining things, I know.
I play the magic card Pot of Greed. It allows me to draw 2 cards from my deck.
This card is just a better version of the last card. Card of Variation lets you draw 2. Then in the end phase, you send a card from your hand to grave or pay 3000 life. This lets you draw into these boys, so during the end phase, you can get rid of 5 cards without blinking an eye. Again, these should be instant staples in any deck. Why are they not? Everyone's playing Salamangreat without Gazelle. I am actually kinda mad that this is the state of our game right now. We'll cover 2 cards at once with this next entry. Card of Demise and Card of Sanctity do very similar things. Now I know, y'all have already heard of Demise and Sanctity, and you're saying that Demise is alright and Sanctity is trash, outside of maybe 2013 Dragon Rulers. Well, as it turns out, there's these lower quality versions of these cards that are significantly better. Demise lets you draw up to when you have 5 cards in your hand, then discard your hand in the 5th standby phase after attack. Nobody cares. And Sanctity lets both players draw until they have 6 cards in their hands. Really good cards when you open them, though I personally don't play them because the bricks when you already have insane draw anyways. Similarly to the previous entries, Magical Mallet is already a card and the card isn't very good. There is a card within my personal, accurate opinion, has better artwork and the same name out there. This version of Magical Mallet shuffles itself into the deck when initiating and calculating the draw. Whereas the original Magical Mallet draws 4 and goes into the grave when you say, have 5 cards in your hand and shuffle back all possible, this superior Magical Mallet draws 5 and recycles itself back into the deck. A seemingly small change, but it's the difference between Recall and Solemn Strike in terms of card advantage. Pretty significant. Brings into question as to why the card advantage elitists don't talk about this abomination of a card. Personally, I think this is the most useful card in the deck. Burning Soul is a quick play spell card which lets you add a card from your graveyard to your hand. You can recover when you mess things up and reuse cards you've already used. Sounds great and is great, especially useful in recovering bad discards off of the dangers. Ever heard of Call of the Haunted? Relegated to Satellas now, but was once almost as good as Reborn, even hitting the ban list? Yeah, that card. Call of the Living Dead is always treated as Call of the Haunted, for some reason. Don't let this confuse you though, Call of the Living Dead is a spell card which is a soul charge with no life point cost and not once per turn. Yeah, the summon monsters become zombies, but they also come back when destroyed by battle and get stronger, so I think it's alright. Remember Sixth Sense? Yeah, well apparently there's a spell, which is Sixth Sense, but you hit and miss no matter what. Roll of Fate is insanely broken, and the fact that no one uses it boggles me to this day. It lets you roll a 6-sided die, draw cards equal to the result, and then mill equal to the result. Draw 6, mill 6. Use Burning Soul to add back things you need. Broken. As broken as this next card is, the life point cost is a bit steep for my liking. Sabatier lets you search any card 3 times by paying half your life each time. There's a bunch of other stuff in the effect, but as far as this deck is concerned, it's irrelevant. Another engine necessary for this deck's success is Arcana Force XXI engine. This engine consists of 2 1-ups, Light Barrier and Light Barrier is a field spell which lets you pick heads or tails on your Arcana Force monster's effects. There's some other parts of the effect, but nobody cares about that. Apparently there's already an FTK deck using this with the dangers, but that deck doesn't Matchwin. It doesn't use ridiculous draw spells, so it's infinitely worse. A card most people are familiar with due to this video from this man is possibly the most individually important card in this entire strategy. Arcana Force XXI is a level 8 light monster with 3100 attack and defense. It flips a coin on summon. The heads effect lets you skip the opponent's turn by tributing 2 monsters during your end phase. Tails effect gives your opponent a monster reincarnation in their draw phase, something like that. With Light Barrier on the field, you can choose the heads effect, skipping the opponent's turn so you can enter your next turn and your battle phase before they get the chance to do anything. Another supplementary engine is the Blue Eyes engine. With a vanilla Blue Eyes, an alternative, and a melody, you can easily get out a level 8 dragon necessary for the win condition of the deck. Melody lets you add Blue Eyes and alternative at the cost of 1 discard. Alternative summons itself from hand by having Blue Eyes in hand. Level 8 dragon, exactly what you need. Now we can finally talk about the win condition. I could have reviewed it at any point in the video, but it's NXCs, so it's coming in last. Legendary Dragon of White is a rank 8 Xyz monster requiring 3 level 8 monsters. Ever heard of Victory Dragon? Yeah, that one where the opponent scoops right away when they see it, on the ban list to this day. Legendary Dragon of White is Victory Dragon if at least one of its Xyz material is a dragon type. That's why the Blue Eyes engine is used. If it attacks directly and brings the opponent's life to 0, you win the match. Yes, match. You win the best 2 out of 3 in a tournament setting. Tell the opponent they can't scoop at the start of the game, and yeah. Matchwin FTK going first. Doesn't matter if you lose the die roll, just matchwin game 2 and you're still victorious. Ratings are pretty easy. 11 consistency, draw 2 OP, 11 power, plenty of attack to go around, 11 defense, skip the opponent's turn, infinite ceiling, can't beat match winning, 11 longevity, wins 2 games at the price of 1, and 11 adaptability. Look at the draw power. Yeah, I think I've just found the best deck of all time. It's not even close.